Hi pals, it's me, Artie, they them pronouns only. I have tried to diagnose everybody in Stardew Valley. I'm thinking about doing further game only related videos. Thoughts on that? I have told you a selection of characters that I believe are autistic. I've done a couple of deep dives into some of the skins ones, for example. This week, I'm giving you these characters are ADHD coded, and I will die on that hill. Whether I give you any context or reasoning is up for debate. We'll see what happens. But I have a very little list here to go through. We'll see what happens. Again, the usual, no idea where these characters were pulled from or why. A very strange selection of characters as usual. My brain just seems to have a meltdown and decides that I cannot remember a single show I've ever watched in my life. So a lot of these are based off of, I've started using, what's this thing called? I've started using Letterboxd. I probably won't keep it up to date. So it's partially based on that, partially based on just the DVDs I physically own, the recent things I've watched, films and TV. And then like a selection of just kind of cult classic characters who just kind of always live in my head rent-free. So genuinely not really sure how these are ever compiled into one. And yes, I am unfortunately very aware that my lists are quite white, but also like I've had thoughts about this as well of like I want to be inclusive, but also I know that ADHD and autism, generally neurodivergence, can or usually are like manifesting differently depending on like your cultural upbringing and your race, ethnicity as well. That I also just don't know. I don't think I have enough of that expertise or that personal experience to be clocking racialized and people of color's neurodivergent experience. So like I will include a couple of characters here or there who are people of color, but yeah, unfortunately I feel like my list will just continue to be quite white when I am the sole creator of the lists on my channel. Because there's definitely like a handful of characters I'm like, but I am also just aware that a lot of what I see and experience and have discussed of ADHD and autism are a very white Western version of that. Carrying on with my list. A few of these I mentioned in my autistics video as well, because I feel like a lot of films and TV shows tend to have like that ADHD or autistic dynamic for like either the main friendship or main like romantic pairing. So there's definitely a lot of those. The first one is 13 going on 30's Matt. I headcanon him as ADHD. He's a more grounded ADHDer, where Jenna is a more like floaty, sweet, manic pixie kind of autistic. So yeah, that's my first one for this list. One of my main ones I think about semi-regularly is from the American Shameless. Lip is so ADHD. He reminds me of someone I know in real life. Or like knew in real life. Someone I knew at university. Like right the way down to their personal aesthetics. Very, yeah. That one was a spooky one when I was watching this show thinking like, why the fuck does he remind me of this person? Or maybe that's why. My back hurts, so excuse me for moving around. And then we have a pretty classic Teen Wolf, Styles. Need I say more? One that I've had in my mind for quite a while as well is Along Came Polly, and it's Polly. She is just such a stereotypical undiagnosed ADHD woman. Her apartment's a fucking state. She has a really strange animal that she acquired in a bizarre way that she sort of just lets run rampant. Extremely forgetful, kind of blasé about things, kind of free-spirited, Manic Pixie vibes, but ADHD. And I mean, you were all waiting for this, I'm very sure. Gilmore Girls, Lorelai. Queen. Similar reasoning to the previous one, but also like include the junk food addiction, because honestly, I have had a rampant, is that a word? Sweet tooth for the majority of my life. I think it's because of undiagnosed ADHD. And also the fact that she becomes a business owner, so nobody is her boss. I feel that. That's also quite an autistic trait, which if you go back to the These Characters Are Autistic video, Luke from Gilmore Girls is my autistic headcanon. Also, like, one of the major plot points for Gilmore Girls is that Lorelai just speak at 1,000 miles a minute, so fast speaking. From Hunger Games, I'm sure there's like a few, but like my main one is Peter. Again, soft boy ADHD to Katniss's like hard bitch autism. I would also wager Haymitch, ADHD autistic. Joanna. I would wager she's an ADHDer as well. The Good Place, Eleanor. Kind of an obvious one, not going to lie. I also put Deadpool on here. It's been a while since I've watched those films, but like what I can remember of it, I'm like, yeah, that would make sense, you know? I put a couple of Buffy the Vampire Slayer characters on here too. Xander is like a pretty straightforward ADHD white boy, you know? And I also put Faith in. I feel like she has that sort of badass energy of someone who's not afraid to break the rules that gives me ADHD. Again, a show I've not seen in a while, so probably forgetting things, but I do feel like she has more of that ADHD emotional dysregulation energy, whereas like Buffy is a little bit more autistic. But I hadn't really like made a decision on Buffy herself, but I might have just made that decision. I've been watching this show, like a different medical drama for a while called New Amsterdam. It's something I would like to do a more focused video on down the line. But the main character, Max Goodwin, who is a doctor and what are they called? Medical director in charge of this hospital. He gives ADHD. He just gives ADHD vibes so aggressively. And when I do it like a deep dive or a discussion on that TV show, I will explain that further. But right now, there are too many layers to get into here. I also put in a couple of the Spider-Verse characters. I watched the new film yesterday when I'm filming this anyway. I headcanon Miles Morales as ADHD, and okay, I'm gonna have to double check pronunciation. Pavitra Prabhakar. I'm so sorry, that was probably very bad, but like Pavitra definitely has that like bright, sunny, soft boy ADHD, and Miles Morales gives me a lot of that like accidental boy genius, scholarship ADHD kid energy. especially when you combine the fact that he's Spider-Man. He's always late everywhere. He's never ready for any occasions that are happening, whether it's as Miles or as Spider-Man. Of course, I've put in here Naruto. He's kind of like the OG of ADHD in like media I've watched, to be honest. He's always given aggressive ADHD energy. I also want to throw in Stifler from American Pie. He just like had the vibe of a kid who was always hyper on something, which I think a lot of ADHD kids, especially boys, have the energy of. I just had to put him on the list. And a few more of my ADHD headcanons are erring into the game space again. Okay, so in the UK we say Craig, but I think in America it's Craig, from Dream Daddy. I also wrote a whole list of himbos, bimbos and thembos that I wished existed in real life. I don't know where that list has gone, but I know Craig was on it. I probably would have used that list to help me fully inform this one a little bit more, but genuinely, pretty sure I wrote it in my phone notes. It is gone. I have no idea where it is. It is not there. Craig is like the Alex from Stardew of the Dream Daddy universe for me. I haven't played Dream Daddy because I don't own it, but I have watched a bunch of Let's Plays when it was like really popular a few years ago. And yeah, like I just have to say that it would be the same scenario if I owned this game as my experience of Stardew Valley, is that I would repeatedly play this character, I'm very sure, because I love him so much. If you want to know what other ADHDs I have diagnosed in Stardew Valley, there is a video for that. I haven't managed to diagnose everybody, so if you have your thoughts and opinions on anyone I missed, leave them in the comment section of that video. I also have a few Life is Strange ones. Life is Strange, the first game, but also then whatever that spin-off was. What was that spin-off called? Before the Storm? Before the Storm. I headcanon Chloe as ADHD. She gives a lot of that, like, I am too smart for what you're teaching me at school. I am bored, so I'm going to cause a fucking havoc. I'm going to make problems for all of you. I did not like Chloe in the first game, but I liked Chloe in the Before the Storm. You got to know her a bit better and how she ended up becoming such a dick, so I also have Life is Strange 2, Daniel, Sean's little brother. He is so annoying. No matter how you play this game, he is so annoying, and I say that with affection. He is such a little shit that if you really aren't fucking careful, oh my god, he is such a handful. The only reasoning I can give is that he has ADHD, like genuinely, that's it. I've also thrown in School of Rock, Dewey, who is the main character who pretends to be his friend and becomes a teacher illegally and starts a band with these kids at school. Do I need to explain? He's good at one thing, and that is music. He is not very good at holding down a job of any kind, especially ones that he doesn't enjoy or think about. The only way he can get a job is lying and pretending. The energy, the vibe, how, like, it's just that ADHD man energy, I swear. His place is a mess. He never pays rent on time. He probably wouldn't even if he had money, you know? And then by the end of it, he's running his own music, like, tutoring business or whatever. Like, this is going to be a weird one. A little bit of an old show. So Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the, like, probably not the original show, because there's probably been a lot of versions of this show over the years. But the show where Sabrina is played by Melissa Joan Hart. The character Hilda, who is one of Sabrina's aunties. She is just chaotic mess, carefree, disorganized, and then, you know, Zelda is the autistic one of the two. See, this is what I mean. There's a lot of the dynamic of usually being evened out in this way. I would also say that all of the live action Spider-Man, every single one of those Spider-Men has ADHD. I would definitely say the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is very autistic. I'm also thinking about, hello, how can I do a video telling you about my ADHD headcanons without also just being incredibly ADHD? It is not possible. It is a canon event, my love. But I'm thinking of doing some Spider-Man related video commentary. I haven't decided yet whether it's just going to be one particular series of them, you know, whether I go for the Tobey Maguire one, the Andrew Garfield one, Tom Holland one, or like the Spider-Verse, or if I want to delve into the comics maybe. I've never read the comics. I want to, but I haven't yet. So probably not the comics anytime soon, you know. Or like maybe talking about it as an overall thing. But like, I just want to talk about those films because one of the reasons why I like Spider-Man is because it's really campy. Like the only superhero anything I like is Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Flash TV show before, like, series 4, 5, maybe even 3. It was good at the start, and then it went so downhill so fast, and it was so long and boring and not very good. But like, I like those 3 because they are campy, have a little bit of like real life commentary as well. But also there's definitely flaws, especially when you're a disabled viewer. Like, has anybody noticed how ableist some of these things are? Like, I love Spider-Man, but almost all of the villains are disabled. And like, is it me trying to make it not feel so bad by headcanoning Spider-Man himself as ADHD? Maybe. But also, I know in the Spider-Verse and in some of the comics there are disabled spider people. Sun Spider, like specifically, is a disabled Spider-Woman who was written by T. Franklin. That's one I'm definitely going to read. I actually cried a little bit when I saw her on screen in the Spider-Verse yesterday. She was on for like 2 seconds and I just started weeping. Am I alright? No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Not okay. Yeah, but then also I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about Magneto and the bad X-Men. Because like, come on. They kind of had a point. So yeah, those are some of my ideas for like future general media analysis from my own point of view. Like, I'm sure I have many more headcanons for characters who are ADHD. I just cannot fucking think of a single one of them. I would maybe probably say Viola from She's the Man as well. I just love to mention her though. I just really like to bring her up. Yeah, those are all that I can think of, honestly, at this point in time. If I can find my himbos, bimbos, and they himbos, bimbos, and thembos list, maybe that'll be next week's video. Otherwise I'm gonna have to rewrite that fucking list, and like I put a lot of work in that list. It was quite a long list of himbos, bimbos, and thembos, although it was mostly himbos and bimbos because you try finding a thembo on television, my dude. They do not exist yet, okay? More thembo representation, please and thank you. But like, literally, where did that list go? It's not like I deleted the list. It was a list within like a bunch of other stuff in a note, and I've been looking through them because I've been trying to find other things in my notes recently. Yeah. It makes no sense. Yeah, sorry. If you have any particular preferences, if there's any like characters that you liked out of the people I've listed and would like a deeper dive on them, or of the films or TV shows or games that they came from, let me know. There was another concept I was debating a while back of like doing a comparison video between Until Dawn and The Quarry, because The Quarry really wanted to be Until Dawn and it just did not do it. Dylan from The Quarry was also ADHD, like headcanon ADHD. I would say him, and who did Brenda Song play? Caitlin. I would say both of those two are ADHD coded, and oh my god. And Ryan is autistic coded, and again it's that balancing act because there's like a little bit of like a little triangle in that game and all that. Yeah, any shows, films, games that I mentioned that you would like a further like delving into generally, or those characters specifically, let me know in the comments down below. I'm open to your thoughts and preferences. I literally made the Married at First Sight Australia video because one person said they wanted it, so I will do it. I literally will do it. But otherwise, leave a like on this video, share it, subscribe, all that algorithm stuff helps boost my channel, my videos, and help me towards becoming partner, which would be very nice, you know. What else do I say at the end of these videos? If you have spare time, or if you have the ability to, you can go and watch my previous videos, or also just play them in the background whilst you do other stuff. It helps with the view count, by the way. That's all I have for this week, I guess. My ribs have been like hurting for weeks, so I need to like lay down. At the moment, that's generally my sign off every week. I need to lay down. We get it, Artie, you're disabled. Yeah, but I'm just reminding you. So yeah, that's it from me this week. Anything else, let me know. And I'll see you next week. Bye.